The lecture hall on Orbit 7 station was huge. Rows of seats rose high like stairs in a giant bowl. Lights above glowed soft blue. The air smelled clean, like fresh metal and faint flowers from the station gardens. Students from many worlds filled most of the seats. Tall, thin beings with feathers. Short, furry ones with big eyes. Others looked like walking plants or shiny insects. They all sat quiet, waiting. At the front stood Professor Kaelvorn. He was from Viral 4, a soft green world full of warm rain and gentle winds. His body stood tall on 6 thin legs. His shell was bright green with gold marks. 4 arms moved fast as he pointed at the big hologram floating in the air. The hologram showed a dark, stormy planet. Red words flashed across it. Tier Omega Doomworld. Survival odds, 0.001%. Welcome to Advanced Xenobiology, Death World Classification, Professor Kaelvorn said. His voice clicked like dry leaves. Today we study the worst places in the galaxy. Places where life should not exist. Places that kill almost everything. The students leaned forward. A small blue-feathered student named Jiho Park took quick notes on his tablet. Next to him sat Ha-eun Kim. She was human, the only human in the class. She wore a simple gray uniform like everyone else. Her black hair was tied back neat. She sat straight but calm. She did not write fast like the others. She just listened. Professor Kaelvorn waved one arm. The hologram changed. A long list appeared in bright red letters. Trait 1, he said. Constant seismic activity. The ground shakes every few hours. Mountains rise and fall in days. No building lasts long without special anchors. A soft gasp went through the room. A plant-like student shivered, leaves curling tight. Trait 2, the professor continued. Predatory flora in packs. Plants that move, plants that hunt. They sense heat, sound, even thoughts in some cases. They trap, poison, and eat anything that touches them. Jiho whispered to Ha-eun, "That sounds impossible." Ha-eun gave a small smile. She said nothing. Trait 3, Professor Kaelvorn said louder. Atmospheric storms with neurotoxins. Winds over 200 kilometers per hour. Lightning that carries nerve-destroying gas. One breath, and your brain shuts down in minutes. More students made small scared sounds. One furry student covered his ears, as if the words hurt. The professor kept going. Trait 4, gravity changes. The planet's core is restless. Gravity jumps 10 to 20% without warning. Bones break. Organs shift. Most species cannot adapt fast enough. Ha-eun watched the hologram. Her face stayed calm. She had seen worse lists before, in her own head. Trait 5, Professor Kaelvorn said. Water that eats metal. Rivers and rain carry acid strong enough to dissolve steel in hours. Oceans are full of salts that burn skin on contact. A tall insect student raised a claw. Professor, how can anything live there? Kaelvorn clicked his mandibles. Exactly, nothing should. But wait, there is more. He added new lines to the list. Rapid evolutionary pressure. Microbes that change every day. They learn your immune system and break it in hours. What kills you today may not kill your child tomorrow. Or it may kill faster. Students started to look sick. A few used breathing masks from their bags. Seasonal kill zones, the professor went on. Whole regions flood with radiation once a year. The sky lights up with deadly auroras. Nothing survives outside shielded areas. Jiho turned to Ha-eun again. This must be made up. No one could evolve there. Ha-eun looked at him. Some did. Jiho blinked. What? She looked back at the hologram. She did not answer. Professor Kaelvorn raised 2 arms high. And the final trait. Apex predators that sense bioelectric fields. They hunt in total darkness. They never sleep. They grow bigger than transport shuttles. Teeth like knives. Skin like armor. They track anything alive from kilometers away. The room was quiet now. No one moved much. The only sound was the soft hum of the hologram and the professor's clicking legs as he walked back and forth. "This," Kaelvorn said, "is a Tier Omega Doomworld. The galaxy has found only 3 confirmed. All are dead. No sapient life ever came from them. Explorers who landed never came back the same. Some never came back at all." He turned to the class. His big compound eyes shone under the lights. "Any questions before I show the simulations?" Hands went up slow. A small voice asked, "Why do we study them if no one lives there?" "To understand limits," the professor said. "To know what the universe says is impossible. To remind ourselves how lucky we are. Our worlds are gentle, warm, safe. We must never forget that." More nods. Some students looked proud of their home planets. Ha-Un sat still. Her hands rested on her lap. She looked at the list again. Every trait, every word. She knew them all, not from books, from memory. Professor Kaelvorn started the next slide. A fake video began. It showed a green explorer stepping onto black sand. Wind screamed. Plants snapped forward like traps. The explorer screamed once. Then the screen went red. Simulation end. Death in 47 seconds. The class made soft sounds of shock. Jiho whispered, "I think I'm going to be sick." Ha-Un patted his arm once. Gentle. "It's okay. Breathe slow." The professor stopped the video. "This is why we call them Doom Worlds, Death Worlds, places that should stay empty." He looked around. "Any final thoughts before we move to the next case study?" The room was still. The weight of the list felt heavy on everyone. Except one. Ha-Un raised her hand. It was slow, calm, not high like she was excited, just up, straight. Professor Kaelvorn saw it. His eyes narrowed a little. "Yes, student." Ha-Un stood. She was not tall, not short, just normal. Her voice came clear and simple. "Stop." The word hung in the air. The professor tilted his head. "Excuse me?" Ha-Un looked straight at him, then at the hologram, then back at him. "You're describing my childhood." The room froze. No one breathed loud. Jiho's beak opened, but no sound came out. Professor Kaelvorn stared. His mandibles clicked once, twice. Ha-Un did not sit down. She waited. The professor finally spoke. "You what?" Ha-Un pointed at the list, one by one. "Earthquakes. We had those every month in some places. Poison plants. We walked through them and learned which ones burned. Toxic storms. We stayed inside and called them monsoons. Acid water. We cleaned it and drank it anyway. Microbes. We fought them with needles and made ourselves stronger. Predators. We hunted them back." She shrugged. Just a small lift of her shoulders. "It's not a doom world. It's home." Silence. Then whispers started. Soft, fast, growing. Professor Kaelvorn stepped closer. "You are saying your species evolved on a Tier Omega world?" Ha-Un nodded once. "Yes." The hologram still glowed behind her. The red words looked smaller now. Jiho finally found his voice. "Ha-Un, is this real?" She turned to him, smiled a little. "Very real." The professor looked at the list again, then at Ha-Un, then at the class. Class was not over yet. The lecture halls stayed very quiet after Ha-Un spoke. Everyone stared at her. Some mouths hung open. Others blinked fast, like they tried to wake from a dream. The big hologram still floated in the middle of the room. Red words glowed bright. Tier Omega Doomworld. The list of terrible traits looked down at them all. Professor Kaelvorn stood frozen. His forearms hung still. His green shell caught the light and shone. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then his mandibles clicked once, sharp and loud. You claim, he said slow, that your species lived on a planet with these exact conditions? Ha-Un stayed standing. She looked straight at him. Not just lived, grew up, played, learned, worked, everything. A soft sound came from the seats. Someone laughed, nervous. Someone else whispered, "She's joking." But no one believed it really. Jiho Park, the bird-like student next to her, pulled at his feathers. Ha-Un, you're serious? Yes. Professor Kaelvorn turned back to the hologram. He waved one hand. The list grew bigger. New lines appeared in red. Very well, he said. His voice sounded tighter now. Let us test this claim. Let us add more traits. If your world matches even one more, I will consider your words. He pointed. The hologram changed again. Trait 6. Oceans full of predators that hunt by sensing heartbeats and electric signals. Creatures longer than most shuttles. Jaws that crush stone. They wade in deep water and strike without warning. Students made small scared noises. A furry one covered his eyes. Ha-Un spoke calm. We call them sharks. Some are bigger than houses. We swim with them anyway. Sometimes on purpose. The professor clicked again. You swim with them? Yes, for fun, or to study them. We even put cameras on them. Then he added another line. Trait 7. Air thick with particles that cause deadly allergic reactions. One breath and lungs close. Breathing stops. Most outsiders die in under 10 minutes. Ha-Un tilted her head. Pollen, dust, mold. We have seasons full of it. Some people carry small shots to stay alive. Others just sneeze a lot and keep going. A plant student in the front row rustled. You breathe poison every day? Not poison, Ha-Un said. Just air that doesn't like some of us. We got used to it. Professor Kaelvorn moved faster now. His legs clicked on the floor. He looked almost angry. Trait 8. Yearly radiation spikes. The magnetic field weakens. Cosmic rays burn skin and change DNA. Whole areas become dead zones for months. Ha-Un shrugged. Solar flares. We watch them on news. Some places get more radiation than others. We build houses with thick walls. We wear hats. We put on sunscreen. Life goes on. The class started to murmur louder. Words floated around. Impossible. Lie. Crazy. Jiho leaned close to Ha-Un. Are you really not scared of any of this? She smiled small. I was scared when I was little. Then I learned how to handle it. The professor raised 2 arms high. Enough games. Let us go deeper. New words flashed on the hologram. Trait 9. Flora that releases spores designed to take over nervous systems. Infected creatures become puppets. They walk to their death smiling. Ha-Un nodded. We have mushrooms like that. Cordyceps. They turn ants into zombies. We study them. We make medicine from them. We even watch videos of it and call it cool. A tall insect student stood up. You find death funny? No, Ha-Un said. We find it interesting. We learn from it. Professor Kaelvorn's eyes narrowed. He looked at the list again. Then he spoke louder. Trait 10. Storms that last weeks. Lightning strikes every second. Winds rip trees from the ground. Floods cover cities. And the rain itself burns skin if you stay out too long. Ha-Un answered fast. Typhoons, hurricanes, monsoons. We name them, we build walls against them. We wait inside with family. We eat special food. Then we clean up and start again. The murmurs grew into real talking. Some students looked excited. Others looked afraid. One small furry student raised a paw. But how do you not all die? Ha-Un looked at her. We do die, a lot. But not all of us. The ones who live teach the next ones. We get better at staying alive. Professor Kaelvorn stepped closer to the front row. His shadow fell over Ha-Un. Then explain this, he said. The core of such a world stays restless. Auroras become deathlights. Radiation bats from the sky every night. No species could evolve eyes to see in that light. No species could keep soft skin. No species could think clearly with constant danger. Ha-Un met his eyes. We have auroras too, in cold places. They're beautiful. We stand outside to watch them. Sometimes we get a little extra radiation. We wear coats. We drink tea. We take pictures. The professor made a strange sound, half click, half growl. You mock me. No, Ha-Un said soft. I'm just telling the truth. He turned to the class. Look at the data. Galactic surveys of this planet, called Terra, show every trait listed and more. Early explorers landed, few returned. Those who did spoke of endless danger, endless fight, endless survival. He pulled up a new hologram, old files, blurry pictures, a human in thick clothes standing on ice, another in a boat fighting big waves, another climbing a tall, snowy mountain. All looked small against the world around them. These images, Kaelvorn said, are from the first contact attempts. All failed. The explorers died or went mad. Ha-Un looked at the pictures. She smiled bigger now. Those are tourists, she said. People who went for fun. The room exploded in noise. Fun? Someone shouted. Fun? Another voice repeated. Jiho grabbed Ha-Un's arm. You climb mountains for fun? Yes, she said. We call it hiking or mountaineering. We carry ropes and ice tools. We sleep in tents. We eat dried food. We take photos at the top. Then we come down. Professor Kaelvorn stared at her like she was a new species. You do these things on purpose? Ha-Un nodded. Most of us don't, but some do, and the rest of us watch videos and think it's brave. The professor walked in a small circle. His legs clicked fast. If this is true, he said slow, then your species did not just survive a Doomworld. You changed it. Ha-Un thought for a second. We changed ourselves more. We built houses. We made machines. We grew food in hard places. We learned what killed us and how to stop it. She looked around the room, at the shocked faces, at the wide eyes. But we never stopped the world from being hard. We just got better at living in it. Silence came back, heavy, full of new thoughts. Professor Kaelvorn looked at the hologram one last time, then at Ha-Un. Class, he said, will continue, but the lesson has changed. He waved his hand. The red words stayed bright, but now they looked different. They looked smaller. And Ha-Un sat down again, quiet, calm, like nothing big had happened. But everyone knew something big had. The silence in the lecture hall felt thick. No one moved. No one coughed. Even the soft hum of the station air felt louder now. All eyes stayed on Ha-Un. She stood there, small in her gray uniform, hands loose at her sides. The big hologram still glowed behind her. The red list of Doomworld traits looked almost angry in the blue light. Professor Kaelvorn took one slow step forward on his 6 thin legs. His compound eyes reflected tiny images of Ha-Un from every angle. His mandibles opened and closed twice before he spoke. Explain, he said. The word came out sharp, like a command. Explain how a soft-skinned, oxygen-breathing species could possibly survive, let alone evolve, on a world with every single one of these traits. Ha-Un looked up at him. She did not look scared. She looked like someone who had been asked this question before, maybe many times. We didn't survive by being strong, she said. We survived by being clever, and by never giving up. A few students let out small breaths. Jiho Park leaned forward so far, his feathers almost touched the seat in front. Min-So Lee, a quiet mammalian student with soft brown fur, raised one paw halfway, then put it down again. Professor Kalevorn waved one arm at the hologram. Look at this list again. Constant earthquakes, acid rain, predators that hunt by heartbeat, microbes that rewrite your body in days, radiation storms. How do you fight all of that at once? Ha-Un pointed at the first trait on the list. Earthquakes. We felt them from the day we were born. Houses fell. Roads cracked. We learned to build better. We made flexible towers. We made houses on springs. We made rules. When the ground shakes, get under a table. We turned danger into habit. She moved her finger to the next line. Acid rain. We saw it burn leaves and metal. We made umbrellas from strong plastic. We grew food inside greenhouses. We did not run away. We stayed and fixed it. The professor clicked his mandibles fast. And the predators? The ones bigger than shuttles? Ha-Un smiled a little. We started small. We used fire first, then spears, then bows, then guns. Then we learned what they ate, when they slept, how they moved. We studied them like school lessons. Some we hunted for food. Some we left alone. Some we put in zoos so children could see them and learn respect. A tall insect student in the back shouted, You eat your predators? Yes, Ha-Un said. Shark fin soup, crocodile steak, bear stew in some places. We turned danger into dinner. Gasps filled the room. A plant student's leaves curled tight in shock. Professor Kalevorn stepped even closer. And the microbes? The ones that adapt faster than any immune system? Ha-Un nodded. We got sick a lot. Millions died over thousands of years. But the ones who lived passed on stronger bodies. We watched patterns. We learned what caused fever, what caused spots, what killed fast. We made medicines from plants, from mold, from our own blood. We gave small doses of sickness to children on purpose, so they would grow strong. We called it inoculation. Min-So Lee spoke up, voice soft and shaky. You gave sickness to children? Yes, Ha-Un said. Tiny, weak versions, like a practice fight. Their bodies learned to win. Now almost no one dies from those old sicknesses. The professor looked at the hologram again. He seemed smaller somehow. But the radiation, the auroras that burn. How do eyes survive that? How does skin? Ha-Un touched her arm. We burn easy. We get red. We peel. But we make melanin, dark pigment to protect us. Some of us have more, some less. We wear clothes. We stay in shade. We go inside when the sky gets angry. And we watch the lights anyway. They're pretty, green and purple dancing. We stand outside with hot drinks and look up. Jiho whispered, You watch death lights for fun? Not death, Ha-Un said. Beauty. We find beauty even in hard things. The room felt different now. The fear was still there, but something else grew with it. Curiosity, wonder. A few students leaned forward instead of back. Professor Kalevorn raised all four arms. Show me proof. The galactic archives on Terra are sealed. Early explorers marked it forbidden. But I have access. Let us look. He touched a panel on his desk. A new hologram opened. Old files, black and white, grainy. A human in heavy clothes stood on snow. Wind pushed so hard, his coat flapped like wings. Another picture. A city under black rain. People with masks walking fast. Another, a forest with trees taller than towers, shadows moving between them. These are the reports, Kalevorn said. Explorers landed. They saw heat that cooked flesh, cold that froze lungs, beasts that moved like shadows, air that tasted of metal and death. They ran. Most did not make it back to their ships. Ha-Un looked at the pictures. Those are adventure photos. People went there to test themselves. They climbed the tallest mountains. They dived the deepest seas. They ran across hot deserts. They took pictures to show friends. The professor stared at her. You call that adventure? Yes, Ha-Un said. We have clubs for it. We train years. We risk our lives because it feels good to win against the world. A small voice from the back. Are all humans like this? Heyun thought. No. Most stay home. They work, eat, sleep, love their families. But enough of us go out and fight the hard places, and the rest hear the stories and feel proud. Professor Kaelvorn closed the old files. The hologram went back to the red list. If this is true, he said slow, then Terra is not a Doomworld. It is something worse. It is a forge. A place that takes weak things and makes them hard. A place that kills most but keeps the strongest. And your species, you are the result. Ha-Un shrugged again. Maybe. We just call it home. The class broke into whispers. Some laughed in shock. Some looked at Ha-Un like she was a hero. Some looked like they wanted to run away. Ji-Ho turned to her. Ha-Un, can we really visit Earth? Would we die? She smiled wider. You would need shots. Lots of shots. Masks, maybe. And you would have to stay in safe zones at first. But yes, some aliens visit now. They wear big suits, they take pictures, they go home and tell stories. Minso asked, do they like it? Most say it's beautiful, and scary, and alive. Very alive. Professor Kaelvorn looked at the clock. Class time was almost over. But no one moved to leave. He spoke quiet. Today's lesson is finished, but I think we have only started to learn. He turned off the hologram. The red words vanished. The room felt brighter without them. Ha-Un sat down. She picked up her tablet. She wrote one small note. Then she looked around. Students stared back. Some smiled shy. Some waved small. She waved back. The bell rang soft through the station. No one hurried out. They stayed, talking, asking, wondering. The lecture hall felt alive now. Whispers moved fast between seats like wind through leaves. Students turned to look at Ha-Un again and again. Some had wide eyes full of wonder. Others had faces tight with doubt. The big screen was dark. Professor Kaelvorn had turned it off, but the red words from before still seemed to hang in the air. He stood at the front, legs still, arms folded tight against his green shell. For the first time, he looked unsure. His big eyes moved from Ha-Un to the class and back. Proof, he said at last. His voice was quieter than before. We need real proof, not words, data, records, something the whole galaxy can see. Ha-Un sat calm in her seat. She did not look worried. She opened her tablet and tapped a few times. Then she stood up again, slow and easy. I can show you, she said. But first, tell me what you want to see. The professor clicked once. Everything. Show us your world. Not stories, facts, numbers, images from your own people. Ha-Un nodded. She connected her tablet to the big hologram system. Everyone watched. The screen lit up again. But this time it was not red Doomworld words. It was bright blue sky, white clouds, green trees, a city far below, with tall buildings that touched the clouds. Cars moved fast on roads. People walked, laughed, ate food from small stalls. This is Seoul, Ha-Un said, my home city. Built on a place that had earthquakes for thousands of years, rivers that flooded, summers so hot the air burned lungs, winters so cold fingers turned white in minutes. The picture changed. Now it showed a mountain, snow on top, people in bright coats climbing up with ropes and metal tools stuck in ice. This is Halasan, a volcano. It still wakes up sometimes. People climb it every year. They sleep on rocks. They watch sunrise from the top. A new image. Ocean waves high as houses. A small boat full of people in red life jackets. They smiled big, even as water crashed over them. Jeju Island. Typhoon season. Surfers go out on purpose. They ride the big waves. They fall. They get up. They try again. The class made soft sounds. Some leaned so far forward they almost fell out of seats. Jiho Park's beak opened wide. Min-seo Lee held her paws tight together. Professor Kavorn stepped closer to the hologram. These activities, they are not forced? No one makes them do this? No, Ha-un said. They choose it. Some do it for sport, some for money, some just to feel alive. We have a saying, the harder it is, the better it feels when you finish. The hologram changed again. A hospital room, doctors in white coats, a small bottle with a needle, a child getting a shot. This is vaccination day, Ha-un said. We take tiny pieces of sickness and put them in our bodies. Our immune system fights. It learns. Next time the real sickness comes, we win faster. We have done this for hundreds of years. Smallpox is gone now. Polio almost gone. We beat things that used to kill whole towns. A plant student rustled. You fight invisible enemies, with more enemies? Ha-un smiled. Yes, we use the enemy to train our bodies, like lifting heavy rocks to get strong muscles. The images kept coming. A farm in dry land. People dug canals to bring water. Machines helped, but hands did most of the work. Another picture. A forest after fire. Black trees, but small green shoots already pushed up from the ash. Fire season, Ha-un said. Some places burn every few years. The land needs it. Seeds wait for fire to open. New trees grow stronger. We let some fires burn if they are small. We fight big ones. Then we plant again. Professor Kavorn watched every picture. His mandibles stayed still. No clicks, just quiet. Then Ha-un showed something different. A dark cave. People crawling through tight spaces. Water dripped. Rocks looked sharp. Caving, she said. Some go deep under the ground. Miles of dark. They find new caves, new animals. They map them. They come back dirty and tired and happy. Jiho whispered loud enough for others to hear. Why go into dark holes on purpose? Ha-un heard him. Because the world is big, and we want to see all of it, even the scary parts. The last pictures came slow. A beach at night. People sat around a fire. Waves made soft sounds. Stars filled the sky. Someone played music on a small box. Others sang. This is normal, Ha-un said, after a hard day. We sit together. We talk. We laugh. We remember we are still here. The hologram went dark. The room stayed quiet for a long time. Then Min-seo Lee spoke. Her voice shook a little. Ha-un, are humans insane? Ha-un laughed, soft, warm, not mean. No, she said. We are just very stubborn. We see something hard, and we say, okay, let's try. If it hurts, we learn. If it kills some of us, the rest gets smarter. We don't give up easy. Professor Kavorn finally moved. He walked to the center of the stage. He looked at the whole class. Students, he said, today we learn something new. Doomworlds are not empty because nothing can live there. They are empty because almost nothing can. But one species did, and they did more than live. They took the worst world and made it theirs. He turned to Ha-un. You did not just survive Terra. You turned its teeth into tools, its poison into lessons, its storms into stories. Ha-un bowed her head a little. We had help. Friends, family, teachers, books, machines we built. But yes, we kept going. The professor looked at the class again. This changes things, many things, our safety rules, our exploration plans, our ideas about what is possible. Students started to talk all at once. Questions flew. Can we visit Earth? Do humans eat bugs? How do you not go crazy? Ha-un answered some. She laughed at others. She said, come see for yourself, but get shots first, and maybe bring a jacket. Weather changes fast. Professor Kavorn raised one arm. Class is over for today, but I will cancel normal lessons tomorrow. We will talk more about Terra, about humans, about what we thought was impossible. He looked at Ha-eun one last time. Thank you, Student Kim. You gave us a new lesson, one we did not expect. Ha-eun smiled. You're welcome, Professor. She sat down. The bell rang soft through the station. Students did not rush out. They stayed near Ha-eun. Some asked quiet questions. Some just watched her, like she was something rare and special. Ji-ho stayed close. Ha-eun, thank you. I was scared of Doomworlds. Now I don't know. Proud? For your people? Don't be proud of us. Just remember, hard places don't always win. Outside the hall, word already spread. Fast. Through messages, through talks in halls, through looks between students from other classes. The human raised her hand. And everything changed. The next day, the station felt different. Students walked faster in the corridors. They talked in small groups with excited voices. Messages flew between tablets. Words like human, Terra, Doomworld appeared everywhere. In the cafeteria lines, in the lift cars, in quiet corners of the library, people asked the same question. Did you hear what happened in Kaelvorn's class? Ha-eun walked to the lecture hall like any normal day. She wore the same gray uniform, her hair tied back the same way. She carried her small bag with books and a water bottle. No one would guess she had changed the way hundreds of students saw the galaxy. When she reached the door, a crowd waited. Not just her classmates. Students from other courses stood there too. Tall, feathered ones, small, furry ones, even a few plant beings with leaves that shook when they moved. They all looked at her. Some smiled shy. Some looked nervous. Ji-ho Park pushed through first. Everyone wants to talk to you. They say you rewrote the whole xenobiology book. She laughed soft. I just told the truth. Min-so Lee stood beside Ji-ho. Her brown fur looked fluffier today, like she was excited. Professor Kaelvorn sent a message to the whole academy. He said today's class is special, open to anyone. He wants to talk about Terra, about humans. Ha-eun raised one eyebrow. Open class? Yes, Ji-ho said. The hall is already full. They had to open extra seats in the back. Ha-eun stepped inside. The room looked bigger than before. Extra rows had been added. Lights shone brighter. The big hologram screen waited blank in the front. Professor Kaelvorn stood there already. He looked different. His green shell seemed polished. His legs stood straight and proud. When he saw Ha-eun, he raised one arm in greeting. Student Kim, please come to the front. She walked down the steps. Every eye followed her. She sat in the front row. Ji-ho and Min-so sat beside her quick, like they wanted to stay close. Professor Kaelvorn turned to the class. The room went quiet fast. Students of the Galactic Survival Academy, he said. His voice clicked clear and strong. Yesterday we learned something important. We learned that Doomworlds are not the end of life. They can be the beginning. One world, Terra, holds every trait we call impossible, and one species came from it. Humans. He waved a hand. The hologram turned on. Not the red list this time. A blue and green planet floated there. Clouds moved slow across oceans. White ice caps shone at the poles. Cities glowed at night like small stars. This is Terra, he said, also called Earth, home of the human species. We thought it was dead, forbidden, a warning, but it is alive, very alive. Pictures changed, cities with tall towers, people walking busy streets, markets full of bright fruits and vegetables, children running in parks, old people sitting on benches feeding birds. Ha-eun watched quietly. She knew every place shown. Some she had visited, some she only saw in videos, but all felt like home. Professor Kaelvorn continued. Humans did not hide from their world, they faced it. They built, they learned, they laughed at danger. They turned poison into medicine, storms into power, predators into stories, radiation into warnings on beach signs. A soft laugh went through the room. Even the professor's mandibles moved like a smile. He looked at Ha-un. "Student Kim, the class has questions, many questions. Would you answer them?" Ha-un stood. "Yes, I will try." Hands shot up fast. The professor pointed to one student after another. A tall avian asked, "Do humans really climb mountains just to see the view?" Ha-un nodded. "Yes, we call it the summit. The top feels special, like you won against the mountain." Another student, "Do you eat your own predators?" "Some," she said. "Not all. We have rules. We hunt only what we need, and we say thank you to the animal." A plant being rustled. "What about fire? Fire kills us. How do you live with it?" "We fear fire too," Ha-un said, "but we learn to use it, to cook, to stay warm, to make tools. Now we fight big fires with water planes and brave people. We plant trees after. Life comes back." Question after question came, fast, curious, some scared, some amazed. "Do humans ever give up?" "No, not really. We cry, we rest, we get angry, then we stand up again." "Are all humans brave?" "No. Some are shy. Some are afraid of small things. But when big trouble comes, most of us find a way." The questions slowed. The room felt warm now, full of new thoughts. Professor Kaelvorn spoke again. "I have changed the curriculum. Doomworld studies will not stop at impossible. We will study survival. Real survival. We will study Terra. We will study humans. Maybe we will learn something for our own worlds." He turned to Ha-un. "Thank you. You did not just answer questions. You opened eyes." Ha-un bowed small. "Thank you for listening, Professor." The class ended, but no one left quick. Students came to Ha-un. Some shook her hand careful. Some asked for pictures. Some just said thank you. Ji-ho stayed last. "Ha-un, can I ask one more thing?" "Yes. If someone from here wanted to visit Earth, what should they do?" Ha-un smiled big. "Get all the shots, study the weather, pack good shoes, and remember, the world is hard but it's also beautiful. Don't be afraid to look." Ji-ho nodded slow. "I think I want to see it someday." Ha-un patted his shoulder. "You would like it. Bring friends." She walked out of the hall. The station corridors felt brighter. People waved at her now. She waved back. Back in her small dorm room, Ha-un sat on the bed. She opened her tablet. A new message waited. From the academy office. "Student Kim Ha-un. Due to recent events, we invite you to give a special lecture series on Terra survival. Optional, but many students have asked." She smiled. Typed back quick. "I accept. Thank you." Then she closed the tablet. She looked out the small window. Stars moved slow outside. Somewhere far away, a blue planet turned quiet in the dark. Ha-un hummed an old song her mother used to sing. Soft Korean words filled the room. She did not feel big or special. She just felt like herself. But because she raised her hand and said stop, the galaxy started to change. One small human voice. One simple word.